Mercy is defined as compassionate treatment for those in distress, and this is precisely what the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital embodies. A facility that expresses through its delivery of care and services the ideals of the word mercy.
Established in 1945, the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital, known locally as Mercy, is located in Kingston, Georgetown. It was founded by a group of Catholic citizens under the auspices of the Sisters of Mercy.
The Sisters of Mercy have ministered in Guyana since 1894 as the third group of Catholic religious sisters to address the educational needs of the people of the then British Guyana.
So we ran schools. We were involved in the hospital work, as you know. We were also involved in St. John Bosco Orphanage. We've been doing that for over 100 years. St. Joseph Mercy Hospital, you may have heard, was really founded by a group of laymen. We began sponsoring the hospital 70 years ago, since its beginning, really.
Although the role of this group is not as hands-on as it used to be, key oversight is provided to ensure the health institution stays true to its mission statement. The St. Joseph Mercy Hospital, as a premier health care facility, is committed to providing quality services to all in Guyana with a spirit of compassion, commitment, and professionalism. We serve because we are compelled by Jesus' ministry of healing the sick. We are asked to do no less. Sister Admirabilis is one of the earlier administrators at the facility.
I had come back from the States in 1969, and I had just got my master's in mathematics, and I was going to teach at the St. Joseph's High School. Maybe a year or two after I was there, teaching like that and taking care of the sisters, I was asked if I would take over the hospital. Well, that was a bit of a shock because I hadn't known anything about the hospital, really. I knew a little bit about it, but not much. And they said, well, I said, I haven't got any other sisters to put. And they said, well, come on, you've been on the board a couple of months or years now, and so you should be all right. And we are going to help you, said the members of the council. Of course, we had a lot of difficulties. It was a time when you couldn't get stuff, and you had to, I think I broke the law sometimes, so don't tell anybody.
Physically stronger, seemingly younger, but equally passionate and closely aligned to the Kingston Hospital is Sister Catherine, who manages the library and lectures to student nurses among other activities.
I have been the sole librarian or the sole person working in the library all these years, with some volunteers who might come like half day once a week. I was also involved in teaching one class in the nursing school, and that's communication skills to the nurses. We started with 10 students, and then gradually they increased until we got 20 students at a time. Each year they would admit 20 students.
The nursing school is another feature that makes the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital stand out from other like institutions in Guyana. Aside from the state, no private institution trains nurses. The nurses here are not only employed at this institution, but work at other hospitals, bearing the established tradition of care.
When one examines the values of this institution, terms such as compassion, respect for the dignity of each person, excellence, integrity, and professionalism are manifested, not only in thought, but in the care and treatment of every single patient.
chairman of the board, CARLTON JOAO, the remainder of the board, and hospital administration have a vision that could see the facility standing for 70 more years.
We want to make sure that we're sustainable above everything else. It has become a very competitive environment. It's healthcare in Guyana. The public healthcare system has developed over the last years, and Millennium Goals and delivery of healthcare has reached quite near and far. And it's something that we recognize, but we feel that Mercy has a significant role to play going forward. There is a niche, there are specialist things that we do. There are specialist things that define us, not only in the skills that we perform or the special services that we perform, but also in the type of service we deliver, which we want to make sure we're the premier healthcare delivery institution in Guyana.
Technology has such an impact on the medical industry, and I would like to see more of that incorporated in what we're doing. Definitely a hospital-wide billing system that makes it easier for patients in discharging with their bills was one. Two, a resident care home built for sure. We do have a small version of it. We have about 15 persons, elderly persons who live in the hospital, and that is such a big need in Guyana. So right now we're looking at building a 36-bed facility off-site. We're going to be renovating one in the convents from the Sisters of Mercy, and we're going to look at that. And then down the road, probably build a bigger facility. So that's one. Future plans, to procure our own CT scan, because right now the one we have we lease, and also possibly expand the emergency room, and also expand the school to offer more areas so that we can continue to educate persons and help persons.
But for now, the wide range of services being offered will be delivered at the standard this institution is known for.
We have a good, strong nursing school. We train our own students, and that helps us to continue the care to everyone. Other services that we have, that we've done recently, are radiology services. We have a CT scan, we're now able to do ultrasound, and recently we purchased a C-arm. So that means that for our orthopedic surgeons, when they're doing pinning for knees or hips, they're able to see what they're doing. We also have maternity, lots of babies. That's one of our strengths.
For 24 hours, one can access not only the emergency room, but the ambulance, outpatient services, radiology, nursing care, access to medical and emergency care, access to the laboratory and diagnostic procedures, and the pharmacy. The laboratory of the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital adheres to the highest standards of quality and patient safety. It is accredited by the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, the industry's gold standard, and a member of the International Organization of Standardization and the Pan American Standards Commission. Skilled phlebotomists perform routine blood collection procedures, and experienced medical technologists analyze specimens for accurate and timely results. Specimens are processed as soon as they are received, and laboratory routine testing begins immediately. Because specimens do not have to travel a great deal of distance, results are available sooner with less compromise to the integrity of the sample. The 70-bed facility is complete with an intensive care unit and 2 operating theaters. Accommodations range from 14-bed wards to 2-bed semi-private rooms, single bedrooms, and self-contained rooms with and without air conditioning. Women have unique health issues, and some of the health issues that affect both men and women can affect women differently. Quite often, women, when addressing certain issues, prefer to see a female doctor. The St. Joseph Mercy Hospital is one of few that has a female gynecologist providing the care for unique issues including pregnancy, menopause, and conditions of the female organ. An institution of this magnitude will not come without its challenges, and for Mercy, its greatest yet was the fire of 2010. It was just after 7 hours when the fire started and took with it medical records and the operating theatres. Despite the significant setback, Mercy continued to serve the community.
It was really remarkable that we were able to keep going. We were able to carry out our duties, help all the people who were coming to us. Doctors had to be ready to assist in any way, nurses, everything.
A fundraising committee chaired by Chris Fernandes began work almost immediately. Fernandes, vice chairman of the board of directors, was described as having the ability to encourage the private sector to give more than they knew they could. And the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital was able to find good in a devastating reality.
The fire, in some ways, was a plus because the building that was destroyed by fire was an aging wooden building, and we probably would have had to demolish it anyhow. It earned the hospital a lot of sympathy, both locally and overseas, and people have been very generous in helping us to restore the hospital. Rather than building a new wing of the hospital, we decided to refurbish the existing buildings, making them modern and improving the equipment and so on in the hospital. And we've been quite successful.
As a not-for-profit organization, the committee has been holding several fundraising activities to advance their cause. Ongoing projects include the purchase of more innovative equipment, as well as the construction of a home for the elderly. For more than a quarter of its existence, the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital has provided the highly recognized services of pediatrician Dr. Rohan Jabour. He recounted his experience over the last 2 decades and noted the cycle of progress that the hospital was subjected to since the early 60s, which wasn't always glorious. He believes that there needs to be improvement in some areas, but is pleased with ongoing efforts in this regard.
Like anything else, there's competition outside there. Mercy is still trying to be a not-for-profit hospital. So it's difficult to walk that line at present, where the way you give charity is you have to have an income to give charity. If you don't have a decent income, you're not going to be able to give charity. Obstetrics has improved quite a bit. We're managing, I think, now to get the nurses to understand that. And so on the wards, I'm finding good feedback from the patients, that they're quite reasonable what they're getting. And a lot of the problems that we had in the past seems to be resolving itself.
Like Dr. Jabour, many others have dedicated much of their lives in service at this institution, and for them, 70 years of existence is as much a personal achievement as it is a milestone for the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital.
70 years, 3 generations. Fantastic milestone. You obviously had to be doing something really right for 70 years to be around and to be accepted by Guyana and Guyanese. The St. Joseph Mercy Hospital is a household name. It's been recognized for its tradition of care, and it's something that we want to make sure we we have that going forward in even better ways for generations to come.
70 years, quite a milestone. It means that we are here. For the hospital, and even for me, it means, like I said, that we're here and that the hospital has been given compassionate service to the community, and also that we're continuing the healing ministry of Jesus. Now, for myself personally, I came in 2008, and when I came on as the CEO. And during that time, we had the fire. So I was part of a history, although tragic. What it did for us, it helped us to come together, look at the hospital, and replan, for want of a better word, what we're going to do, so that we can shape for the next 50 years.
The hospital and I are the same age. In fact, I was probably one of the early births of the hospital, or probably just before the hospital started. So as a Guyanese who are concerned about our shortcomings in a number of areas, healthcare being one, my efforts really are to make the hospital as good as we possibly can, so that when I and my family and friends need medical care, we don't have to go overseas. We can get everything done here in a reasonably priced manner.
I like to live by our mission statement, where we, in our mission statement, declare that we will deliver the highest quality of care at St. Joseph Mercy Hospital. And I really would like to see St. Joseph Mercy Hospital continue in that tradition of delivering high quality care. We are embarking on a program now where we're going to have our nurses conduct scientific papers, conduct research into best practice.
This initiative was launched with a weekend retreat.
You people have to have a basic knowledge of what a nursing journal is or a nursing scientific paper is, how to go about constructing a nursing scientific paper, and referencing, which is pretty much very, very important. Remember, if we don't reference, we use someone else's words, it's called plagiarism, and it's a felony. 100 patients coming through the emergency room with pneumonia. 50% of them are admitted, and the other 50 goes home. Out of the 50 that are admitted, the ones that are discharged alive, what were we doing differently from the ones that died?
Apart from the meaningful discussions on related topics, the retreat also gave nurses the opportunity to enjoy recreational activities as well as relax in a peaceful environment.
Come on, Chevy, let me see some energy there. Next side. You must feel it all in the chest. Next side.
This is my least favorite.
Need to exercise now, sir.
Hey, good morning.
No, don't come in there, woman. You go there.
This is wide. It's wide, it's wide.
Tree. So, in doing the research paper, we were able to be better equipped to then interact with these patients and to render the most appropriate and effective care to them.
This kind of pride comes from satisfied customers whose lives were changed as a consequence of the services.
I remember particularly having one patient who was unconscious for a long period of time, about 2 weeks I would say that person was unconscious. And every morning, you know, in my knowledge, I learned that if you spoke to them in their unconscious state, that they could hear you. So I made it my duty to go in every morning and speak to this patient. And I remember coming to work one morning and hearing in the report that the patient was awake. And going into the patient's room, as soon as I stepped into the room and I said good morning, the patient knew who I was. And he looked up at me and he said, "You're Nurse Daw. You're the one who's been talking to me." So that proved to me that the patient does hear you when they're unconscious. So I think I'd never forget the incident.
Coming to hospital scared the hell out of me. It really, really, really did. But I'm happy today to tell you that Mercy was quite pleasant. My stay at Mercy was quite pleasant. The nurse there were very pleasant, very good. If you're in trouble and you press that bell, within a flash, they're there. We keep hearing reports about the food in the hospital being atrocious. I had set up an arrangement for my wife to bring me meals. Not once did she bring me meals. The meals here were good. Maybe not quite as much as I was accustomed to eating, but it was good food. And they came, They would come the evening before to find that they're doing this for lunch tomorrow and this for breakfast. You always had a variety to choose from. And it tasted quite well, not a problem. Breakfast is at 7 o'clock, your breakfast comes. Lunch is between, I don't remember the time, but let's say 11 to 12. Between 11 and 12, it is good. They would come in, make sure you're all right. If you needed to use the washroom, all the help that you needed was there. They cleaning you up, making sure that you were okay. It was really a very pleasant stay. To such a point that when I was told to go home, I asked to stay an extra day, and that is actually very, very true. In the end, Dr. Jeffrey put me out because he said an infection in the hospital is totally different than an infection at home.
Well, actually, I said, I did up on there when I come. But I thank the maker and the doctor for help. And the nurses and everybody was nice to me. No hard treatment, no hard time. Everything was good. And I thank them for the time that they look after me. I'm coming around slowly. And I thank all the nurses for the cooperation.
In keeping with the code of the Catholic Church of always addressing the needs of the poor, mobile clinics comprising a doctor and nurses would visit different areas countrywide providing free medical care to those in need. There is also an HIV program that offers free medication and counseling to persons affected or infected by the disease. An existing system to help others who are in dire need of care but are unable to afford is supported by donations from persons abroad. The St. Joseph Mercy Hospital staged a health fair in September as part of activities to commemorate its 70th anniversary. There were free blood pressure and sugar tests, HIV/AIDS, body mass index, and many others. However, specific emphasis was placed on cancer and depression screening, since those seem to be major concerns for Guyanese. As such, there were breast examinations and depression screening, with counseling being offered on site. The event ensured patrons left with a clear understanding of the importance of having a healthy body, mind, and spirit. A nation's health is a significant determinant of its future, and the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital intends to continue to play its part to ensuring a healthy Guyana for many more years to come.
When a loved one is ill and hospitalized, in addition to medical care and treatment, we often seek out divine intervention regardless of our beliefs. This chapel is located in the heart of the compound, providing solace for those needing to pray, an embodiment of one of the many principles of Mercy Hospital, of a healthy mind, body, and spirit.
It started with a group of persons who believe that we should have a hospital. And it is still standing today. I mean, we had the fire, and a lot of people thought that that would wipe us out, but it didn't. All it did was just strengthen us, and we are here 70 years today, and I believe we will be on for another 70 years, even when I'm gone.